When we first open the pages of Genesis, we are greeted with beginnings that feel both familiar and distant. We meet Adam and Eve, the first family, standing in the quiet, newly formed world. We encounter the genealogies tracing the descent of their children, and then the descendants of those children, and suddenly we are immersed in lines of names stretching across time. At first glance, these lists can feel overwhelming, even mundane, yet within them lies a profound story, not merely of lineage, but of human identity, divine intention, and the interwoven nature of all people. As we pause to consider these ancient texts, we are reminded that they were never meant to be read as dry records alone. They are carefully constructed, intentionally preserved, and spiritually vibrant. Each name, each generational marker, each repeated phrase contributes to a narrative that speaks about the shared origin of humanity, about God's continuing presence, and about the interconnectedness of life. We are invited to listen slowly, to read attentively, to approach the text not only with our minds, but with our hearts. This is Bible Scope, your place to find light, find truth, and find purpose. If this journey speaks to your heart, like the video and subscribe to walk through Scripture with us. From the very beginning, Genesis situates humanity in a deliberate and relational context. God forms Adam from the dust, breathes into him the breath of life, and places him in the garden to live in partnership with the Creator. Eve follows, drawn from Adam's side, establishing the foundational human family. These first individuals are not isolated figures. They represent the shared ancestry of all humanity, a lineage that will ripple across generations, echoing into every corner of the world. When we trace the genealogies from Adam to Noah, and then from Noah's sons onward, we see not only the continuity of life, but also the care with which the biblical authors preserved each name. Lifespans are recorded, sometimes extraordinarily long, and each father-son relationship is noted. While these numbers can feel symbolic, they also serve to anchor humanity in time, to mark the passage of generations, and to testify to God's providential care. They affirm that every life is known, every story matters, and every lineage contributes to the unfolding of history. Modern science offers a remarkable complement to this narrative. Genetics has revealed that humanity shares a common ancestry. Through the study of DNA, researchers can trace lineages and migration patterns, uncovering evidence that all human beings share a relatively small set of progenitors from whom life today descends. While the terminology and methodology differ, the insight resonates with what Genesis conveys. Humanity is interconnected. We share more than similarities in form or function. We share a foundational story of origin. Yet the biblical texts do not limit themselves to biology alone. They imbue these genealogies with spiritual significance. Each lineage carries not only life, but also moral and theological weight. Through the stories of these families, we learn about God's covenantal faithfulness, human resilience, and the consequences of sin and obedience. The narratives encourage reflection. How do our lives, our choices, and our families fit into the broader tapestry of human history? What responsibilities do we inherit as part of this shared lineage? Consider the story of Noah and the flood. Here, the genealogical records intersect with divine action. Noah, a descendant of Adam through 10 generations, becomes the pivot of human continuity. The flood narrative is both historical and symbolic, illustrating judgment, renewal, and the preservation of life. In preserving Noah's lineage, the text emphasizes that God's promises endure across generations. Human ancestry, in this sense, is not merely a matter of biology, but of divine orchestration, reflecting the interplay between God's plan and human history. As we continue through Genesis, other foundational figures emerge: Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, each a focal point in the genealogical and spiritual chain. Abraham's calling to leave Ur and journey toward the land promised by God marks a turning point in human history. His faith, recorded alongside his descendants, demonstrates the intertwining of familial lineage and covenantal relationship. Scientific perspectives on human migration echo this narrative. Studies show how early human populations dispersed, intermingled, and adapted to diverse environments. While science and scripture employ different languages and methodologies, both reveal patterns of movement and connection that speak to the shared story of humanity. In tracing these connections, we also encounter the profound theological insights embedded in scripture. Names are rarely arbitrary. They carry meanings, hopes, and sometimes warnings. Genesis carefully records these details so that each generation may recognize the continuity of God's work and the significance of human decisions. The repeated emphasis on lineage reminds us that no life exists in isolation. Every human being is part of an intricate network that stretches back to the beginnings of creation, a network that extends forward in time, affecting countless others in ways seen and unseen. Numbers, too, play a role in conveying meaning. They structure genealogies, highlight periods of significance, and communicate patterns of divine intention. 7, for instance, signifies completeness, while 10 often represents a full cycle. These numeric markers are not merely symbolic decorations. They provide a rhythm and order to the narrative, guiding readers to perceive divine patterns within the flow of human history. When we consider these structures alongside modern genetics, we find complementary insights. Both scripture and science acknowledge a common framework underlying the diversity of life. Both reveal the unity inherent in the human story. As we reflect on these connections, it becomes clear that scripture and science need not be opposed. Genesis does not offer a modern genetic treatise, nor does genetics seek to provide moral instruction. Yet together, they illuminate different facets of the same reality. Human beings share a common origin. We live within a world designed with purpose, and we exist within networks of relationships that are both physical and spiritual. Reading the genealogies carefully, we perceive the echo of scientific truths, and viewing genetics through the lens of scripture, we sense the moral and theological dimensions that science alone cannot convey. Furthermore, Genesis challenges us to think about identity and responsibility. If we share a common ancestry, if we descend from the same first family, then our actions carry weight not only for ourselves, but for the broader human family. The ethical implications are profound. Compassion, justice, and stewardship emerge not only as spiritual ideals, but as extensions of our connectedness. Humanity is not a collection of isolated individuals. It is a living network bound together by origins, history, and divine design. Reading the text attentively, we also notice subtler patterns. Certain genealogical entries highlight faithfulness, others caution against folly. Some names are blessed, others marked by tragedy, yet all contribute to the larger narrative. This selective focus underscores an important principle. God's purposes unfold across generations, often in ways unseen until much later. The stories invite patience, reflection, and attentiveness, encouraging us to recognize how present actions can resonate far into the future. In considering both scripture and scientific inquiry, a remarkable harmony emerges. The genetic story of humanity's shared ancestry provides empirical support for what the biblical genealogies convey spiritually. We are fundamentally connected, we share a common origin, and we are part of a unified human story. The ancients recorded these truths through narrative and numbers, while contemporary science reveals them through DNA sequences and population studies. Both approaches, though different in form, lead us to wonder and humility before the vast web of life that God has established. This invites a deeply personal reflection. Each of us, reading these texts today, participates in this story. Our own families, communities, and nations are threads in the same tapestry. Our faithfulness, our choices, our compassion, and our understanding contribute to the ongoing narrative of human life. The genealogies, so often overlooked or skimmed over, remind us that every life has value, every action has consequence, and every generation plays a role in the unfolding of God's plan. As we conclude this journey through Genesis and consider the bridge to modern genetics, we are left with profound insights. Humanity is one family. We share origins, history, and the potential for moral and spiritual growth. The ancient texts invite us to honor this connection, to recognize God's presence across generations, and to see ourselves as both inheritors and stewards of a legacy that stretches from the earliest moments of creation to the present day. As we've walked through this passage, what truth stood out to you? How might it shape the way you live today? If this exploration helped you grow, like the video and subscribe. Your journey through the pages is just beginning.